Does anybody have any questions? There was a question on IRC asking what JVM we use. We use Cacao for now.
Other question? Would you like us to move back into another slide? Maybe look at the pictures differently? I don't know. Just let us know.
Board layout manufacturer.
So for the board layout, well, I did the board layout entirely. Oh, and that's another thing. All of the hardware is open source and completely available, so we can give you schematics of whatever you want, as well as Gerber files and anything. It's a completely non-for-profit open source project from hardware up. But I did the layout. Our manufacturing for our initial build was advanced circuits. We're using PCB for the next run of things. And Tektronix donated some of the fab time so that they could pick and place the parts for us. Texas Instruments also donated a lot of the silicon for this initial build to help offset the cost. So I hope that answers everything.
I have a question. Hello?
Go ahead, Bill.
This is an undergrad project or graduate project? Because it seems like a lot of work to force you to design a whole system just to get a course done.
Well, actually, it was initially just Ben and I, and we didn't do it for a class. We were just paid by the university, peanuts, to build this over the last year. We started at about, I think, June of last summer. So, yeah, I guess it took us about 9 or 10 months to get hardware out, about 100 boards. But yeah, it wasn't for a class, and we were undergrads. Ben is currently an undergrad, and I just graduated this year. And I'm a grad student now.
Wow, so you took this on just for fun while you're trying to get a degree? Wow, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah,
you should be chasing girls at a bar. What the hell are you doing?
Yeah, so there's a question about the 802.15.4. And so on the interface board, we just have the CC2431 on there. And we use the TI Mac as a basis for the software there. And that chip communicates directly to the OMAP over a UART line, which we run at a megabit. And everything on top of TI Mac was written custom by me. And so, and then I've written the Linux driver as well. And that just started working about a week ago. And there's still a few bugs, but it's been interesting. There's been with so few people working on the project, there's been a lot of software development that will get pushed off. And so, I don't know if you what more you want to know about the wireless system.
So are you talking between the two modules for your the 802.15, or are you talking to sensors and ZigBee and all that craziness?
We're talking between modules, and so currently what I've started setting up is I actually pipe IP, the IP protocol directly over it, and so two Oswalds can, any Oswald can become a coordinator, and so that'd be like an access point, and any other Oswald can browse nearby access points, connect to it, and then they'll all be assigned IPs, and then from there it's just like any other wireless network. And that's kind of an interesting way to do it because of the low data rate over that network. But what it gives me is, with fairly little work, all internet programs start to work immediately. And so, like Java can start with very little work.
So you're not trying on a big job, like trying to make a mesh out of it and things like that?
Not at the moment. I plan to eventually. I cut it out because that was a little too complicated for one person to write all the firmware and the driver in a couple weeks. But I hope to eventually, or maybe I'll find some bright student that I can stick on it, and That's one of the really exciting things is if I don't figure something out, I can find a student that's real willing to learn and take the time, and they can explore it. And really, it gives them somewhere that if they do something really cool, every other Oswald will get that, and every other student after them will be able to see what other students have done. And it's just kind of like an incentive, because if I do something, every student's going to use it, and we're really open.
So somebody's outside your university can actually look at your stuff, or is it only for students?
Yeah, it's fully open.
If you go back to the first page on the slides, it has
We should be wrapping up now.
Okay, all right. Sorry about that.
Yeah, so on our slides is our project page, and you can go there to look up any of the information further about the project, as well as all the links to our Git repositories and our SDNs for all of our software. There's also links to our IRC channel on our mailing list if you have any further questions.
Well, thank you, Kevin, Ben, and Tim. This is a really exciting presentation. I want to know how I can get myself one of these. Well,
John, order Jason.
all right. Thanks, Kathy.
In about 8 weeks, we'll try and have a bit more that we can provide for outside developers. Right now, we're scrambling to get enough for students.